If you ever wasted money on the wrong supplies, I got you. Today I'm breaking down the exact tools and supplies I use to make soft, slow rebound tab of squishies just like this one. No geek keeping, no fluff, just the good stuff to get you started. Let's do this. Hi friends, I'm Liz, your squishy pastry chef. Welcome to Squishie Bakery, where I turn stress into soft squishy treats like this one. Or soft little Taba support animals like this little kitty here. Sometimes I make them look too realistic where people want to eat them and I have to tell them no. As yummy as they look, you cannot put this in your mouth and you are not allowed to eat this. So let's get started. Today I just want to show you the basic materials that you are going to need to start making your own Taba squishies at home. You definitely do not need all of these supplies. You can definitely start by going to the dollar store and picking up the most cheapest things that you can get, because let me just tell you, you will make it work. It works just like the expensive stuff. You do not need silicone cups and glass and all these like specialty bowls to make Taba squishies. You don't need none of that. So do not sleep on your dollar store. Do not sleep on your Five Belows. Do not sleep on your Targets. Like, go hit up those stores. You will find everything you need under the sun in these places, from napkins to cups to toothpicks to tape to Vaseline. Literally, the entire load that you need to make Taba squishies is there. I'm just going to show you a couple of things that I have, but you could totally just hit up the dollar store and make do with that. So you don't have to break the bank just because you want to get into this hobby or you're trying to make some gifts for friends. Supply number one, which is the heart and soul of every squishy, which is the gel. Do not get this confused with other different types of silicone gel. All gels are not the same. This one is very, very soft. Squishy glue gel is number one. You do not want to get it confused with this type of gel. This is also another type of silicone. It also comes with bottles A and B, as you see here, but this is for mold making. Obviously, you could tell it's blue. It's not even clear, but they do have clear ones. So you're gonna have to like really look into the silicone. You want the shore scale to be literally 0 because it's the softest type of squishy glue gel that you can find in the market. If you wanted to make your own silicone mold for your Taba squishies, you can totally get some air modeling clay just like this one and create your little figures and then pour that gel that I just showed you on top of that so that you can make your own molds. You don't have to buy molds, so you can make your own, but that's for another video. I'm just showing you the different things that you can do. Right now we're just going to get into the meat and potatoes. I want to show you the type of stuff that I use when I make Taba squishies. And I'm going to help you guys to show you what I've messed up on and give you some tips and tricks that will help you out so that you can not make these mistakes that I made. So the next thing that you're going to need is a kitchen scale. I am a real pastry chef and I normally weigh out everything in grams when I'm baking, and I do the exact same thing when I am making Taba squishies. I have this one scale that I bought at Target like about 10 years ago. It still works, it still does its function, so I'm not going to replace it until it breaks. It still weighs perfectly fine. I did get myself a microgram scale, but you don't have to. You could get yourself this scale that I just showed you, but this microgram helps me when I'm trying to do, you know, tiny amounts that don't require such a giant scale. But I make a lot of Taba squishies, so I normally use the big scale because I have a lot to weigh. Next, you're going to need some cups. You're going to need some cups. You could totally get these, like I said, at the dollar store. You can get these anywhere. I like to get cups that look like this, with no ridges, no designs, because I like to see the color that I'm mixing. And I also like these types of spatulas. I'm so sorry that they're so dirty, but I like these kind of like spatulas. I think they're called jar spatulas, and I like to use these because they're reusable. I just wipe them down right after use, and I can reuse these over and over again. But you don't have to get these silicone spatulas like me. You can get these sticks, like I said, at the dollar store. They sell the sticks there. They have big ones, little ones, and you could totally use these sticks to mix your gel, and it will be perfectly fine. You can also get these types of art palette knives if you're really trying to go, you know, ham into this. These are definitely even more reusable because they're metal, and you can wipe these off and you can reuse and reuse and reuse as many times as you want, and you don't need to throw these away. So these work perfectly fine, and I definitely use those a lot. You're gonna need to want to have around some Q-tips. Q-tips are very necessary for when you're making mold with a lot of details in it. Q-tips will help you clean your mold inside so that you're able to make the details more refined. Bonus tip, I like to use these types of Q-tips. These are the ones that I bought separately. Yes, they are a little bit more expensive, but it's not anything where it's going to break your bank. The reason why I like these is because they do not leave any hair, like this one has like little fibers that is left behind, and this one doesn't do that. This one is clean, and I love the long stick because I can get into the like shallow, very shallow ones, or I can get into deep molds easier and clean up so much easier things. Also, you're going to need some toothpicks. You could get these at the dollar store or anywhere, and I definitely use these for when I make more details on the molds. Let's talk about some molds. So right here, I have a dirty silicone mold that I have used over and over again. It's very dirty because I just used it and I didn't clean it. Sorry about that. But you definitely want to get molds that are flexible like this, okay? Hard molds, they can be used, yes, but they're so much better when they're flexible like this because you are able to remove your squishy so much easier, and it's just 100 times better for removal. It makes the process so much easier for you. So another bonus tip, another trick, I tend to get a piece of tape before I put my Vaseline on, something like this, and I like to go like this to the mold to remove hair and debris and little pieces of silicone that were left from the previous tablet making session. So you definitely use a little piece of tape and it removes all the hair. And if you live in a house with pets or you know, where you open windows, you're gonna have dust in your house. If you're human, you're gonna have dust in your house because you know, you're living. So so definitely you want to make sure that your molds are nice and clean before you pour your gel in. Nobody wants a tab of squishy with a long piece of hair or your dog or your cat's hair inside of it. So the cleaner you are, the better it is. A clean chef is a happy chef. Another thing that makes the process so much easier is this jelly, petroleum jelly. You are definitely going to need a big tub of jelly and a brush. Or you could use your fingers. You don't need to use a brush, but you could use your fingers and just rub the mold with a light coat of Vaseline. And I say that twice. Why? Because you don't want giant globs of Vaseline hanging out of your mold when you are making tab of squishies. It will ruin your tab of squishy if you have giant globs of Vaseline all over the place, especially when you have very detailed molds with little eyes or mouths or little ears or whatever you're making. You want to use just a minimal amount of Vaseline that will not fill those tiny detail holes, so when you pour your silicone inside and you unmold it, it will unmold complete and full and intact. Also, you're going to want to get some of these plastic disposable piping bags. I got these on Amazon. All you have to do is type in disposable plastic piping bags, and these will come up. They're super cheap. I think you can get like 100 of them for like $5. So this will help so much when you have to have a certain amount of gel in the mold, and instead of pouring, and if you have little details that you want to fill, this actually helps so much with all of that. So piping bags, must. Over here, I have some thick color paste. These are just ones that I found on Amazon, and they work really, really good. They're for silicone. They're oil-based, so those are the types of colors that you definitely want when you're making tab of squishies. You want to use colors that will not leave clumps or chunks inside of your gel. So these colors right here are phenomenal. They're really good. They are a little expensive, but they will last you a very long time. You don't need that much. You only need like a couple of pumps every single time you make your tab of squishies. So definitely these types of colors, the thick pigment paste colors, are the type of colors that you need for tab of squishy making. And I will link these below. I do not affiliate with them. I do not get paid if you buy these. So, you know, if you want to buy them, great. If you don't, great. No harm done. So another thing that you can definitely get are mica powders to color your squishies when they're done. You can use mica powders for little details. For example, this little kitty right here that I have, you know, I colored him orange. He's sleeping. So I just did with a little brush. So this is my little art kit that I have. You definitely want to be able to color your tab of squishies with some sort of color. You don't want them to be just plain. So I use makeup. You can get your makeup from, it doesn't have to be expensive makeup. It could be dollar store makeup. It could be any type of makeup, or the mica powders that I was showing you before. I found this little cheek palette at Ulta, and it's adorable because it's like the perfect shade of pink for the hamsters that I make. I don't know if you can see the little cheeks. How cute. The little cheeks are so cute and pink and rosy, and I like that. And they look adorable with the little pink cheeks. See how squishy they are? Squishy and cute. So I tend to use brushes, or you could use little sponges. You could use Q-tips. You don't need expensive brushes. I just have these. Also, if you want to put eyeballs on your squishies like this, you can either A, color a little bit of A and B gel and color it black, and then just put a little toothpick and paint your eyeballs on your tab of Squishies before you do anything to them, before you paint them, after you wash them and you prep them and you have them ready to go for coloring and bagging. You can put your little eyeballs on your tab of Squishies. So I have these, and you can make your own glue gel by mixing A and B and then having a little bit of gel and just putting the eyeballs there, or you can use some super glue. And I definitely use tweezers for a lot of things, so a good pair of tweezers would be definitely another good investment that you can have. Whatever kind of tweezers, because it will definitely be easier to put eyeballs in and for little details that you want to add to your tab of Squishies. If you do want to paint the eyeballs on your tab of Squishies, put a little bit of gel, color it black, use a little toothpick, and make eyeballs for your Squishies. Okay? I like the plastic ones with the flat back because it doesn't matter if you fluff them, they won't get dirty. They still look shiny, so it looks very cute for my Squishies. But you can do whatever you want. You can be creative as you want with your Squishy. Let's talk about packaging. Packaging is the way you're going to package your tab of Squishy. The best way, and the way that I've only seen really, is purchasing these special PVC bags for jewelry. I think they're made for jewelry, and they are awesome. They really are, because you can squeeze, 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 and they last forever. So you can squeeze away to your little heart's desire, and it doesn't matter if the Squishy is fluffed with floofy powder or if it's not with floofy powder and it just has the stickiness of the gel. They're perfect for squeezing and super calming. So these PVC bags are fantastic to purchase. You can get those on Amazon too. Also, you want to make sure they have a good pair of scissors. Scissors are always nice and handy to have. So some decorations inside the bag is fantastic. I like to put these little poof balls in there, pom-poms, and it just makes it look so much fun. It's a black cat, if you can't tell. Also, don't sleep on your glitter. Glitter is amazing and always good to have. Covers up mistakes, covers up a lot of things. Little paw is super squishy. I definitely made this one extremely soft, where I had to make sure that it had some floofy powder on it, because if not, it was going to get stuck all up in the bag. If you do make your tab of Squishies super soft, I suggest to just leave them in the bag. Don't take them out of the bag. I mean, you could do whatever you want with your tab of Squishy. Obviously, it's your Squishy. You can do whatever you want. But definitely, it will last longer and it will remain with its shape if you keep it in the bag and just play with it inside the bag. This is floofy powder, also aka as flocking powder. You can get this on Amazon. They sell it by pounds. So I think they even use it to flock Christmas trees and drawers. So definitely, this is like the #1 thing to buy it to for your tab of Squishies, because it makes the tab of Squishies so much easier to handle. This one right here would have been so delicate. It would have been sticking all over my hand, but because I flocked it with some floofy powder, it became super floofy, and now I'm able to squeeze the living life out of it. And it still comes back to its original shape, which that is awesome, because you can play with it as much as you want and it will always go back to its original shape. And I love that. So that brings me to PPE. You want to make sure that you have masks handy. You want to make sure that you have gloves, because when you're using this flocking powder, it is so messy and it literally goes everywhere. So having a mask will protect your lungs. Having gloves when you're using the gel and when you're using the paint, definitely a must. Definitely have rolls of paper towel. You always want to have paper towel handy. This is not a mess-free activity. You will make a mess. So just make sure that your table is covered. Don't make this on your mom's expensive dining table unless you have a table cover on there, because squishy gel is messy. The paints are messy. The flocking powder goes all over the place. It is a messy activity. So just be safe. Cover your hands with your gloves. Cover your face with the mask, and you should be all good. Other than that, remember, you guys, to stay creative. If you do need to copy others out there, you can do so, but just put your own twist on things. You don't need to copy somebody exact to the T. This is a very creative outlet, and you can definitely do your own thing. Don't worry, your tab of Squishies are going to turn out perfect. Everything is going to be fine. If this helped you in any kind of way to dodge like a supply fail, I would love it if you would drop a like. If it helped you save money or stress, subscribe to my channel so that YouTube knows to show this to other squishy makers too. All right, you guys, have a great time. And, if you want to keep hanging out with me, you could definitely do so. Watch this next video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.